Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the CB View. Today we're taking a look at the Razer Nommo V2 X stereo speakers. This video is sponsored by Best Buy today, so a big shout out to Best Buy and thank you for sending this product off to me so that I had the ability to review it and give my thoughts to you guys on exactly where this sits and if it deserves your hard-earned money, because that's always the greatest question of all. Today we're going to be comparing the Razer Nommo V2 X speakers to some very casual Logitech Z200 speakers. Now, these Logitech Z200s have been used for about a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years on my side. I only use stereo speakers on my PC sparingly because I'm more of a headset kind of person, but they're nice to have when you need them. As someone who is now using these very nice gamer-related speakers, I thought it'd be interesting to do some small bits of audio testing between the two of them. Compare and contrast and let you guys see what the difference is between the two of them. Now, before we dive too deeply into that, let's talk a little bit about these PC speakers because they are packing some interesting stuff. Right off the bat, we have 3-inch drivers that are included on both of these. So we've got a good amount of depth. Obviously, depth is important for our sound profile and our audio. We have THX Spatial Audio on here, which is a classic in the world of Razer. As a user of Razer's Black Shark V2 Pro headset from the year 2023, it's really great. I'm a huge fan of the THX Spatial Audio, and we'll get into how that sounds on these speakers. Along with that, we have a maximum sound pressure level of 96 decibels. So the claim to fame, if you will, is that this will be able to push a lot more air. And if you're pushing more air, then we're going to be able to push out more sound, and we'll be able to do it at a higher pressure, creating more sound. Beautiful, right? And then, of course, rear-facing bass ports on these. So instead of having your bass at the front, the bass comes from back here. That's pretty much the main stuff. Other than that, Razer also lets you know that this is compatible with their cool little dial accessory. They call that the Razer Wireless Control Pod. So it is compatible with that. I believe that they include it with the Nommo V2 Pros, but they don't include it with the X since the X is a cut down version of that product. But anyway, today we're gonna be testing out the audio between these two. We're gonna do some light testing, nothing crazy, just a quick little 30-second, or rather 15-second clip, testing out first these Logitechs, then the Razers. And I hope you guys can hear some of the nuance in the audio. We're using a $500 Sony microphone for today's video, so the goal and the hope is that it picks up on some of that nuance and that it's really available for you to hear the difference on your own personal speakers, whatever you're listening to this on. Now, folks, as we get into testing here, I'm just gonna have a little bit of an unboxing video off to the side playing here for you. The unboxing isn't anything too exciting, I suppose, but it's really nice to be able to see what you're getting right out of the box so that there's no surprises on your guys' side. Without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna set my audio to the Logitech speakers, and then we're gonna go ahead and see how this sounds, folks. Okay, not terrible and not great. It actually sounded pretty annoying from behind the desk, to be honest with you. Obviously, we're going over an analog interface for these folks. I'm using a 3.5mm connector, so you can see right here. I don't think that the speakers themselves were ever made for clean audio in the first place, and when you couple that with the fact that audio was at 100% on my laptop, it just sounded like this thing was flinging noise everywhere from my side. I can't imagine it sounded too much better on your guys' side. So with that, let's go ahead and just switch over to the Razer Nommo V2s. We'll do the same audio clip again. Keep in mind that we're just gonna be doing stereo for our first test with these, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do surround, okay? I will let you guys listen to the Logitechs one more time after we do this so that we can compare how things sound when it's Logitech versus Razer with stereo, and then Logitech versus Razer with the THX audio enabled. Now let's kick this off. Yeah, fair enough. Quite a bit more clean. right off the bat. Obviously, these are very directionally oriented toward you guys right now, so I didn't have sound just bleeding and bouncing everywhere, which again, I find really annoying. As someone who's been testing this for a week, I know exactly how clean it sounds on your side too. Things are less muddled. It's not just noise being thrown into the air. We actually have some structure. So although I can't pick up on the nuance of the music because this is in stereo mode and I just have 2 channels, it does at least sound clean. And clean matters, of course, especially if we're talking about a pair of gaming speakers, which are supposed to help you out in whatever competitive title you might end up playing as well. Let's go ahead now. I'm gonna switch again to the Logitech, guys, and we're gonna compare apples to apples, the Logitech stereo audio versus the THX stereo on the Razers. All right, and back over to the Razers now for our THX audio test. Wow, that is much improved. I really enjoy the way that music sounds with the THX Spacial audio enabled, and the reason why is because the software is just very accurate in the way that it tries to pull out each piece of audio and make it so that your ears can actually pick up on it. The best way that I can put it is that even though these speakers are not firing at me right now, the audio kind of dances on my ears. So I'm able to pick up individual distinct pieces of audio, but I only have 2 speakers. It's pretty impressive the kind of emulation that they're doing here, and it's just as impressive when I've tried their gaming headsets as well and enabled this feature, so it's really nice to see here. Now, as someone who did a little bit of gaming with these and tried to see if THX would actually make a difference for my performance, first of all, I'm a terrible FPS gamer and kind of just a terrible gamer in general, but I didn't notice much of a difference when it came to gaming. I found that kind of disappointing. I was hoping that there would be a little bit more of a, oh wow, I feel spatially aware. I feel like I know where I am, similar to when a headset's on, but that didn't happen to me at all. The gaming headset route is what I recommend for most people, whereas just having a set of stereo speakers, to me, is just having a set of stereo speakers. Now, obviously the audio sounded pretty great when it came to music, but that's about where my recommendation ends for the Nommo V2 X's with the THX Spatial Audio enabled. It's great for music. And it's probably great for movies too, but personally, I would recommend using something that's a little more full-featured for movies, something that actually has bass so you can appreciate some of those explosions and boom moments. You're not going to get that with the Razer Nommo V2 X's. So these are in a difficult product spot, actually. It's tough to recommend them to really much of anyone because Razer is focused on selling these to gamers, but they've missed out on a couple of key things. First of all, we don't have a 3.5mm jack included on these. So if you have some sort of old school audio source that you want to hook up, whether that's your iPod Shuffle or otherwise, you can't just plug in a cable and get the audio coming out of here. You have a Type-C interface, which means you can hook these up via USB. And then of course, they're also Bluetooth enabled. Razer touts that so that you can play with your Switch or your PlayStation and still enjoy some nice speakers. But that's not enough. I think that we really need more digital I/O on this so that we can get different types of audio output for different types of devices, because USB and Bluetooth, although modern, are not enough in my opinion. Getting past that though and getting back into the actual sound profile of these, again, when it comes to bass, just don't be expecting anything crazy. You'll get a little bit of bass, but it's no different than if you went and you got like a slightly premium soundbar without a wireless subwoofer. You're like, okay, I see that you're trying to give me the experience of bass, but it's kind of lost on me. That's what you're gonna feel with these. As you turn up the volume, of course, or as you mess with your equalizer settings and you pull up the bass all the way, yeah, you can have a little bit of a different experience, but the bass is still not going to be very impactful to you. It's still going to be muddled, it's still going to be lost on you, and I don't see many people appreciating it. Even when I looked online to see other people's opinions on this, nobody said, hey, the bass is good enough on these for my purposes. everyone said it was a little bit lacking, and that goes from reviewers like me all the way down to regular consumers. So with all that out of the way, then what are my final thoughts? Great speakers, awesome speakers. I'm a fan. I'm not recommending them though. And the reason that they don't get a recommendation is because $150 for stereo PC speakers is just too much in my opinion. We're trying to be gamer focused with this product lineup, but yet when I tried to use some of the, gamery features, being the THX spatial audio in games, I didn't have anything mind-blowing on my side. I've already used Razer's Black Shark V2 Pro headset from this year, and I've used THX spatial audio, and I can hear where everything is coming from with relative ease. It works very well. But when we're talking about PC speakers and it's just blowing sound into the open air, you're not going to pick up on those nuanced pieces of audio where you hear someone scuttling to your left, the explosion to your right, and the frag grenade that went off behind you. That's not the way that these work. So it's tough to recommend this type of product. I think for anyone who needs just a casual set of PC speakers, you can look at something like these Z200s, but I'm not going to recommend that someone spends $150 on something that's made for gamers and not get the gamer benefit out of it. Now, granted, yes, you do have Bluetooth on these, so you can hook it up to your Nintendo Switch, you can hook it up to your phone and to your tablet and, PlayStation or whatever you want, but it's not enough because even if they just included a 3.5mm jack to be able to hook up your old iPod Shuffle to, you get a lot more versatility out of these speakers. Instead, your modes for getting audio through them are USB and Bluetooth. And that's it, folks. There's nothing else, but you're spending $150 for this, so it's tough to recommend. I don't think it's gonna fit for most people. I know Razer with their Nommo V2 Pros, they have a 2.1 audio setup with a really nice subwoofer, but at least the value proposition is a little bit more there for someone who's like, I want the best gamery this, I wanna make sure I hear every explosion, I wanna feel like I'm there in the moment. They're gonna get immersion out of a product like that, whereas with something like this, I don't think you're gonna get much immersion. That's just my 2 cents though. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Look forward to more videos from me and more fun stuff from Best Buy as well. Thanks so much for watching.
Hello.